Start streaming. Our event is starting. Okay.
Hello!
I don't know if anyone can hear us yet. We're gonna update this and see what happens.
Check 1.
It says it's waiting for us.
Check 2.
Okay.
Woo!
Okay. I don't know if anyone can hear us yet. I don't know if anyone can hear us yet. We're gonna... Oh, now it's gonna be echoing. Ooh. Okay. All right, guys. You have to press play. I'm actually gonna put a little note underneath the interview. Press play.
Oh, press has 2 S's.
Play. Press play to watch live stream. There's in the background. Oh my. Melissa, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello. I'm Melissa Reynolds, owner of M Cape Photography and extreme procrastinator.
I'm
Horrible.
Lisa Edwards, Photo Bacon and Lisa Wareham Photography. Getting over procrastination. It's an addiction. Step 1 is admitting it. Okay.
This is
so
our
everything's
12-step class. Hi,
So
my
you have
name's Melissa, and I'm extreme procrastinator.
Okay, so you guys to watch press play. Obviously, you're already pressing play
Look
to
at our
watch.
faces.
Okay. So this is really casual because this was kind of oops. There's a earthquake going on here. This was kind of just off the cuff. I was talking to Melissa yesterday. No, like 3 days ago about procrastinating. Okay. So should we start talking about procrastination?
Maybe later.
Yeah, let's wait.
It makes me all nervous.
Let's talk about procrastination after we have lunch. How about that?
Yeah.
Or coffee.
I think, you know what? Let's start a new day, and then
Yeah,
we'll
how about
do it.
tomorrow?
Let's wait till tomorrow.
Well, since I've been procrastinating all week, I think Monday, because that's like at the
Yeah.
new week, I'll just start Monday.
Yeah, because it's already Tuesday. Why would we like dive into something on a Tuesday?
Why would we start trying on Tuesday?
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's procrastinate about procrastination.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that how you guys feel about your
Yeah.
life?
It's like, yeah, I'm going to start. I need to email those people back. But
I need to
have
check
so much-
Facebook first.
and I have so much going on today. You know what? One day later isn't really going to matter. So I'll just do it tomorrow morning.
Ugh.
And then tomorrow morning, it's, I really, they say you should always do your most important thing first. Emails aren't the most important thing. So I'll wait on that. So, and then there's the excuses.
Oh,
Like,
God.
well, I heard this. So really what I'm doing is right.
yeah. You just kind of make excuses for yourself, and then pretty much everything just kind of snowballs.
Oh, funny. So these are our notes of what we're going to talk about. On the other side, cancel OnStar. Oops. Actually, this is like I bought a internet $20 a month data plan for internet in it, which was great on our road trip. But I've been meaning to go in my car and push the OnStar button and cancel for a few months. So I've spent $40, $80. If I wait the whole year, that's $120 I've wasted.
I have a really good one. So I thought I was going to be really productive in 2010. I figured out the other day. It was 2010 when I ended up buying studio management software. I bought one, like Shoot Q or 17 Hats and stuff. I ended up buying Shoot Q. And amazing, like, love the stuff, but I never set it up. And it's now 8 years later, and I've been paying $50 a month. And I was like, I'm not going to pay the however much it is to have them set it up. I'll save money and I'll do it myself, then I'll learn it, yada, yada, yada. Well, I could have paid them to set it up like 5 times already. And finally this year, actually, I hired my sister to set it up, and I'm just kind of overseeing and learning at the same time. But talk about procrastination. That's almost a decade.
I think you had mentioned that was like $3,600 over 8 years. Oh my gosh. So anyway, procrastination. Sometimes those little, like, if you procrastinate on little things, it ends up making a big impact, negative, whether it's to your bank account or to, like, yourself. And, ooh, sorry, guys. Phone's ringing. Yeah.
Probably not answer it.
Probably not very professional.
We're going to procrastinate on that.
I don't want to click end, because then they know I'm sending them to voicemail, so I'm going to wait.
That's
and then turn off my sound. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, we'll get into this now. We've been procrastinating enough. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
So the procrastination cycle. Tell me about that.
Okay.
You were talking about it so good, and it was like, that is me. So we're gonna talk about the procrastination cycle. We're not just gonna talk. Then we'll give you like tips on like how we do actually get out of it. So
procrastination. So when I was talking to you the other day, it kind of just like flew out of my mouth, and it sounded really good. So
it all starts with feeling good. Remember?
Yeah.
You're doing really good.
Yeah, and this happened to me a few weeks ago. So I was, doing my thing, waking up super early, getting photo work done before my kids wake up, and everything was great. It was beautiful. It was like I had a life. I could be creative with my shoots. I didn't have the stress of like, who do I have to email or call today that I haven't called in 3 weeks? Because they emailed me twice and called me 4 times about pictures. Anyways, so it starts off really good. And so you're doing really great. And then you're like, I'm doing really good. Maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I'll wake up at 5 instead today. Because I really don't feel like waking up at 4:30 today. So then what happens? You sleep in until 6:30. And then goes your time to edit. Well, then it snowballs because then you feel like crap because you didn't get done what you needed to. And you're like, I'll just get it done at lunchtime. Well, then the kids are screaming, poopy diapers, everything goes out the window. The dog needs to be fed. Chickens, in my case. I always forget to let them out in the morning.
Okay.
My poor chickens.
We live in Montana. Not every person in Montana has chickens.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know.
Dogs
but
need to be
Melissa
fed.
lives out of town and she has chickens.
Yeah. Dogs need to be fed, all that stuff. So, pretty much then it snowballs, and then you're starting to feel bad about yourself, and maybe one thing doesn't get done, and you're like, it's okay. Well, then another thing starts not to get done, and then it pretty much just starts piling up, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to get all this done, and then you start like almost having a heart attack when you start thinking
anxiety.
Anxiety.
Anxiety over, I didn't email them. Should I even email them back?
Yeah. And
at all? Should I just delete the email?
Then
I don't
you
know
just don't even do it because you don't
You're ashamed.
Wanna,
the shame spiral.
So then you're ashamed, so then you don't email them back, and you're like, well, it's just been too long. I'm just going to have to cut this as a loss, right? And then it gets to the point where you just have so much going on that you don't even have priorities because almost everything's a priority now. Because you haven't been getting back to people, you haven't been editing, you haven't been meal prepping and doing your shopping list like you should. So your kids are eating vanilla wafers like morning, noon, and night. And then you can't even go to sleep because you're thinking about it in bed and you're like feeling guilty for sleeping because you really should be doing something. But then when you're awake, you are avoiding the situation and you don't want to do it. So what do you do? It just...
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm late on everything. Yeah. So actually all 20 of these things are a priority. They're all urgent. They all should have been done yesterday.
And then you make a list of all the things that you need to get done, and you're like, finally, you're going to face it. Rip off the Band-Aid. So you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it done. So then you decide to pull like a 24-hour, 48-hour binger and get everything done that you need to get done. And then you're exhausted, and then you don't have time to start your schedule the day that you need to, and then you get behind again, and then it's over and over.
And you're like, wow, I got so much done. I feel so good. I totally deserve to take the afternoon off.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm usually like, hey, Lisa, I got my stuff done. Do you want to go to Park and Main and have some eggs? And then 3 hours later, we're still at Park and Main.
Yeah. Which is like 3 blocks away from our studios. So we have like, it's not like we're like stuck in traffic or anything.
Yeah. We just sit there and talk about our problems.
And solutions. Hey, we're pretty good. We're good.
Yeah, we do talk about our
negative
solutions,
Nellies.
actually.
We used to be negative Nellies.
We used to be negative Nellies.
About 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah.
Now we talk about the solutions and tell each other to buck up. And you just need to get it done. You'll feel better.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so now let's talk about the solution. So we already talked about the cycle and how sometimes the solution just gets you back into the cycle.
Like a Wayne's World solution, like tiddly-loo, tiddly-loo, tiddly-loo.
Is that like a thing?
Haven't you ever seen Wayne's World?
Like when I was 10, I don't know. I was Garth for Halloween one year.
If anyone out there is like an extreme Wayne's World fan, please just let me know, because it's one of my favorite shows ever.
If you're here and you're a fan of Wayne's World, type it in the comments.
Yeah.
I'm going to refresh the comments, which don't refresh very easily.
Yeah. So, I mean, Wayne's World, Stacy, we broke up like 2 months ago.
I remember that.
Anyways, sorry guys, love Wayne's World. But back to the solutions. I'm like a squirrel. And that's another thing of procrastination is we have phones, we have computers, we have people talking to us, kids yelling at us. We can't even focus even if we want to. So, I mean, part of the solution is really being aware of your surroundings, A, your tendencies, B, keeping yourself out of those situations. I mean, and it's hard. Not everything that is right is easy. It's usually going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it in the long run, you know? Like everything worth it is a little difficult.
Yeah.
So trying to, you know, work on these things is going to help you. I don't know if any of you guys have read the book, but it's called The Compound Effect. It's an amazing book. And it basically just talks about the compound effect of good habits versus bad habits. Like it even talks about a study done about, you know, 2 brothers or something that one went to the gym for 15 minutes every day and the other one ate potato chips every day. And just the fact of, you know, after 5 years it was 5 pounds, but then after 20 years it was like a matter of 50 pounds, 60 pounds.
That's a lot.
Yeah. You could apply that into your life for getting business work done, just taking 5 minutes every day to make sure you finish those emails. But let's go through like more step-by-step solutions.
So the first thing, so first is like understanding your pattern of overwhelm, like not overwhelm, but yeah, kind of overwhelm and procrastination. That tends to be both of ours and it might be yours. Maybe yours is totally different. Like what are your patterns? Maybe you don't know, maybe you can't look back now and understand it, but when you're in that like state of procrastination, like look at yourself and be like, okay, what just happened in the last week that made this happen? Did I get a ton done and I worked, felt so good, and then boom? Or maybe you have, I don't know, maybe it's every time your kid gets sick and you have to stay home from work, or I don't know what it could be, but realize your pattern. Hopefully you guys can hear me. And also, the mic here. I think one thing is look at what you're procrastinating on, because if you're procrastinating, probably it means you don't like doing it. And so...
Or you might be scared of the outcome.
Yeah, that's true.
I procrastinate on emails and getting back to people because I actually have really low self-esteem and I'm fearful of rejection. Yeah. I mean, at the bottom of it, like when I've had to dig down deep and think about it, it's because I'm kind of scared that they're not going to book me or like me. Like once they get to know me. And, you know, I have to that's one of the things that I have to learn to be okay with. Because either people are going to love me or they're going to hate me. I'd rather people do that than be indifferent to me.
Yeah, that's true.
That's one of my procrastination tendencies is I have to understand that that's how I feel. And then I honestly have to talk myself through it because that little piece in your brain, this goes back to like caveman days of we have that piece in our brain that's telling us not to do something. It's trying to protect us out of a good thing. Mm-hmm. But now that we're not fighting off lions and bears and surviving, we don't, it's putting its energy towards little things like returning the email and feeling bad about it because they might reject me. So that energy is going somewhere else than how it did back in the caveman days. That might be way over people's heads, but it makes sense.
And Ben Hartley talked about that yesterday, the lizard brain, and I think it's the book Linchpin by, why can't I think of that really popular marketer guy, Seth Godin. Because part of it was like way back in the caveman days, your tribe had to accept you or else you got left behind and died, right? Because you didn't have probably certain people were the hunters, the berry pickers, the let's go get water, and so if you didn't have like that community, you had to do all that yourself and you would probably die.
Yeah, so I mean, almost nowadays you have to talk yourself through and say, I acknowledge that I feel that way, but it's okay, that part of brain, I know you're trying to protect me, but it's gonna be okay. Just calm down, let me return this email, and it is what it is. Like once you actually talk yourself through the worst case scenario, I think you're going to be okay. I mean, me and Lisa did an exercise about like taking a risk in our business. And the worst thing that can happen, and I think both of us came up with, we lose our business, we end up moving in with our mom and working at McDonald's. And that was the worst case situation. And we're like, that's not that bad. Like, I think I could deal with it.
I would still have my family. I would still have a roof over my head and food. Yeah.
So you just got to think it through, like actually be aware of what you're doing in the moment so that then you can correct it, not just after. Because we always get in the tendency, oh, next time I'm going to do better. Mm-hmm. Oh, next time. Yeah, you got to kind of do it in the middle.
Right. So. Well, and here's a tip, too, that I was just thinking about. So we had both listened to a podcast by Tim Ferriss. You recommended it to me about social media and how, like, at night, he knows after, like, a certain time, 7 or 8 p.m. or I don't know, he's like, he grabs his phone, and if he wants to go on Twitter or Facebook, he, like, says to himself, okay, if I open Twitter or Facebook or social media, there's an 80% chance of me getting annoyed and feeling bad and then not being able to sleep because of everything I'm reading. So I'm just going to put that phone down.
Yeah.
So, like, same with procrastination. Like, if you're like, God, I really don't want to do these emails, maybe, I don't know, have a reminder or somehow remind yourself, gosh, if I don't do these now, there's about a 95% chance
I'm going to
be anxious and feel like crap tomorrow about this.
Yeah.
So maybe I should just spend the 10 minutes to do that. And that's easier said than done. To, just do it is easier said than done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, the distraction thing is a huge thing. I mean, I turn my phone on airplane mode when I'm working at my computer. I tell my babysitter, hey, if there's an emergency, call 911 because I'm not available. I'll meet you at the hospital later. You might want to smoke signal me because my phone's not going to be on. But, like little things like that, like disabling your Facebook. I delete Facebook and Instagram from my phone, I think once a week usually.
Yeah, I had done that and then I put it back on and now I'm like,
yeah, and you could always put it on.
Yeah.
But then if it's making you feel anxious, you need to take that step to get rid of it first. Before you're sitting there scrolling. I mean, while your kids are trying to play with you even. It's horrible.
You keep scrolling and then, I don't know why, but you always...
Yeah. So delete Facebook and Instagram off your phone, more often than not, so that you can get things done. One of my great grand relatives, Mark Twain, has a quote that says, eat the frog in the morning.
Right. Because
nothing can be worse the rest of the day.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and we always have more motivation in the morning. So plan it and set it that's what you're going to do in the morning before you do anything else. Get that horrible task that is number one priority done. Then you feel like you already won for the day. And don't hold yourself too high standards and say, well, now I have to do this and get this done. Like, Rome was not built in a day.
Right.
Pick your task for the day. That's your main priority. And if you have time, do some other things, but it doesn't have to be done.
Right. Yeah, and I remember you were talking about that. If you do have, like, 20 things that should have been done yesterday, that you should only do a few of those because you can't get it done all today or you are going to get back into the overwhelm.
Yeah. And you know what I do? Like, especially if I have things that need to be done for clients, I will call them and I will just I'll just be like, look, I'm sorry, I got way behind on things. You are one of my priorities. I need to get you on the calendar to come in and pick up your prints or come in and view your pictures on this day. Can we pick a day within the next week? And then I'm really bad about like where you rely on yourself to like make choices. Like I am outwardly driven.
Yes, me too.
Like if someone else is relying on me, then I am there in a heartbeat. Like you tell me how to jump, how high to jump, where to be, whatnot, I will be there. So I try to use my clients as like my, basically for me to get things done. Because if they're waiting on me, I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to let them down. So I usually have them give me a date so that then I could have it done.
And that's a huge thing, and this was years ago. When I switched, I used to always edit, and whoever's images I got edited first, I would say, hey, let's set up a day to come in and order. And when I switched to instead, right after they came for their session, saying, hey, let's get you in within the next week or two. If they pick their day, and then I edit based on that. and I'm a fast editor, so even if their session, if their ordering is like a Tuesday at 3, I can edit them in the morning, and that works for me. But I won't ever have probably more than one ordering session a day, because then there would be no way for me to do
and
that.
Then you didn't like push other things out of the way to get that done, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Like sometimes we'll say, oh, this has to be done by next week, but then we push that up because we're like, oh, that has to be done, but really something else needed to be done first.
Yeah, that's
sometimes
true.
like you really have to, like, even though you really want to work on those pictures from that awesome like bridal shoot, and then you have to do like kid pictures, like edit those kid pictures where the kid's nose is like snotty and red that you don't want to do. You need to do those first.
Right.
And what was the other stuff that, to create good habits, they talk about piggybacking habits with habits that you already have. So like, for instance, getting up early in the morning is hard for me. I am a morning person, but, so it still is hard to get up in the morning. Like, before I go to bed at night, I set the coffee pot and have it go off at 4. And I put my phone in the bathroom and have it on a ringer. Like, at least, like, I mean, it's in another room, so I have to go in and shut it off.
To actually get up.
Next to the sink so that I can wash my face. Like, do things strategically that are going to help you win. Like, don't fight yourself. Like, try to help yourself. Like, if you need to work out, like, you basically have all your stuff ready the night before, so you can't have an excuse.
Right.
That's the biggest thing is I think we make excuses a lot because we're like, oh, I didn't have that ready. I forgot to meal prep today.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot my hard drive with those pictures on there. You know, like, a lot of getting your stuff done is going to be planning the day before. And then you already know what's expected of you the day of. So, even the night before, just go through and say, okay, this is going to be the most important thing for tomorrow. So then you don't have to think about it that morning. You just start. Like, a lot of times I cull images in the morning from a wedding. So I'll load them the night before and put my preview on them that I want, like a standard size preview. My computer's on. When I wake up and that coffee pot goes off, I just go upstairs. I may be tired, and I just sit down and I start going through.
Right. And so I've been trying. That's terrible. Last week I was really good. So the thing I'm working on, which if you guys watched my class, it was live Sunday and then the replay was yesterday. I want to be getting up early and doing 15 minutes of personal and 15 minutes of business, that the goal framework thing. And I have that downloadable below. But like, for me, if I can get up, if all I have to do is get up early at 6, really 6:30 is the latest I should be getting up. My computer's up, it's plugged in, the table is cleaned off, this is at home, and my Google Drive or Google Sheet is up for me to do those things. And I already have the tiny little action steps, so I do one tiny little action step for each category, and they're already like, I have like 5 days pre-written out. Okay, so today, one of my goals is to make my business more lean, as in cancel crap I don't use that I've been using, like my email software, Infusionsoft, to downgrade because I bought a bigger plan than I needed, which saves me now $180 a month. So for a year at least, I've been spending an extra $180 a month. So to downgrade this crap I don't use, because I'm always like, oh, but I want to be using it. I want to, but you're not.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my goals that I need to do, because I'm getting down on myself and I'm realizing that I have this crap I'm paying for that I'm not using. And so we got a grant. We live in a historic district to get our sidewalk done. So basically 50% of that gets paid by the government. So we just get reimbursed. Well, that happened last June. And so I need to get reimbursed $900. Personal money, not even business money. So one step was literally go onto my bank account and download a copy of the check you wrote, the subcontractor. Then the next step, the next day.
And you didn't have to do those they're one day.
One day. The next one was, okay, find the URA email address. Google URA Butte Montana. Oh, there's the email. copy paste it in that sheet. The next day, email. And I actually ended up doing those steps all in one because it was just easier.
Yeah,
but I had them out. Email. And the next step, respond. And actually, I haven't responded. I need to respond because they actually need the invoice. So then it was, okay, contact my husband to find the contact information for the subcontractor. Call, and then it's only a phone number. I hate making phone calls. So then I have to call. So that's what, now I'm procrastinating on that. But it'll take me 5 seconds. Leave him a voicemail, Lisa. Like, hey, you did our sidewalk on this day, and I just need an invoice. Done. Right? But that's how easy you make those steps on things you're procrastinating about.
And I just think as, like, creatives, like, we hate, like, being fit in a little box and having to do those dumb little tasks that are not fun, like throwing water on a model or, throwing snow in the air, all the fun artistic things. But if you don't take care of if you stop getting creative with your schedule, then you can get more creative with your shoots and with the things that you want to be creative with. Like, stop getting creative with your schedule and taking, like, extra time for things that you really shouldn't be, because it's just giving you stress.
Let's talk, unless anyone has questions, let's, like, one final thing. Will you talk about, I'm going to refresh, see if there's any comments at all. I don't know if there are, because all these comments are from other days. So, okay, I'm not seeing any comments. So, but let's talk about calendar, because I know a huge thing, at least for you, is making a consistent. And I know you've struggled with finding the right what you should be doing.
Yeah. So I made, like, a goal. Are you talking about my goals too?
Well, it could be goals too, but I know for you, for a long time, it was like, okay, I need to get my calendar set up in a way so that I can be consistent and give myself a structure.
So, like, even for instance, just when I started having kids and needed to kind of organize what days I do shoots. I mean, even if I didn't have kids, I honestly should have been doing this. I only shoot on certain days, like 90% of the time. There's always, the 10% where, your clients are out of town or something and you have to be lenient. But, like, I schedule my shoots on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Like, those are the days that I shoot and I meet with people. The other days, like, I edit and do all that stuff. That was the start of it, really.
Well, and you're kind of forced into it now because but you're a stay-at-home mom that works 2 days full-time at your shop.
And Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days that I have a babysitter. So,
so for you, I love this because it's so easy to say, well, I'll do it this day. But for you, like, literally, no. Like, those are the days. Unless, like you said, the 10% of the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I don't know about you, but I work better under pressure. And it sucks. Like, it's really great when you need to, but I kind of feel like that's almost instinctual. Like, you're either a survivor or you're not.
Yeah.
Like, and we must just be kick-ass survivors. But, I don't want to have to do that every day. Like, it's exhausting, doing that and, like, having to think on the minute. Like, I really honestly would rather say, okay, like, this is the day you're going to edit this job, get it done, Sometimes I kind of wonder if it'd be easier having a 9-to-5 job with someone telling me what to do, because
with a boss giving you deadlines, with somebody else,
that outwardly, accountability, but it's just me and actually my clients. But my clients are all really nice. They're like, "Oh, get down when you want, Melissa." I'm like, "No, like, I need tell me, be mad at me, be mad, then I'll get it done."
Let's talk about. Last year, I still had our Christmas decorations up until April. And I posted a thing on Facebook. Hey, you guys, my Christmas decorations are still up. Will somebody please berate me so that I get this down? People are like, oh, ha, 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 it's okay. I'm like, no, tell me it's not okay.
I know. Sometimes you just
mine are down now. I got mine way up.
But it does suck not having that outwardly accountability, owning your own business. And I don't think we're the only ones who struggle with that.
Right.
But the procrastination thing, like, learning to understand why we do that in your tendencies and try to fix them and actually fix them is just humongous. I mean, even, like, changing things up so you know what feels right and what doesn't feel good to you. I mean, like, I used to work out early in the morning. Now I work early in the morning. And And even though I hate working out with my kids because they're like biting me and like crawling underneath me and crawling on top of me during push-ups, I have to do it because that's the only time it's going to get done. So, you know, some of the things you just have to like say, it's not going to be fun, but after it's done, I'm going to be happy that I did it. Like, right, yeah. It's not going to be fun in the moment, but afterwards, I'm going to say, I did it and I got it done. Whereas if I didn't do it, I would have been like, well, so you're fat. Like, you should really work out. You know? So, I mean, you kind of have to think of that and be okay with saying to yourself, I'm not going to really like this, but I'm going to do it anyways. Like, you just kind of have to cheerfully say that to yourself and keep going.
Yep.
So,
baby steps. So I think overall, too, one of the things we talked about when we talked about doing this was, and we kind of mentioned just doing baby steps.
Baby steps.
So, especially, so I think a big thing, and I've heard this on multiple blogs and in books and podcasts, so I don't know where it originally came from, but most of the time we spend our time doing things that are important and urgent, or just urgent.
Yeah.
But we really need to be spending time doing is things that are important and not urgent.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that are going to grow your business.
Make you more genuine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so and I have that download below. If you have questions, email me. It's just a download on the framework I use to do like those little baby steps each morning.
Your dog's moving the table.
No,
Millie.
And so if like you have a goal of maybe maybe you don't do boudoir and you want to do it, breaking into boudoir or starting tween sessions or I don't know, like maybe you're an awesome photographer, you've been in business 10 years, you want to start speaking. Something like that, and you really want to do those things, but they feel so out of reach.
They're huge.
Maybe. They're huge things.
Big.
Starting a totally new type of session.
They're big, like my tensions.
Yeah. Or like, or starting a blog for photographers, or starting a class in your area for other people, teaching moms how to use their camera, but you're like, oh my God, I have to like write out a whole thing for them. Oh my God. Well, if you just do one little step a day for 5 minutes, in a month, you're going to have like you're going to have all this momentum and it's going to be easy.
Yeah. And, too, I was, I don't know, I think it was also like Tim Ferriss or Dave Asprey's podcast, but, there was also some studies done on how you do things, your state of mind as you're doing things. So like when you're constantly saying, I have to, a lot of this procrastination stuff kind of comes into like, you also need to be grateful for these tasks that you have to do.
Right.
Because you wouldn't have a business without these tasks. And you need to be appreciative of the clients that you do have. Right. And having to edit their photos. So they were saying, when you sit down to edit, like you need to say, you don't say, I have to edit these photos. You say, I'm so excited to work on these photos from this family session. And say it out loud. It's so different when you sit there and you're saying that as you're going through things because your mental state is just so different on your outlook of these photos. And then once you write down like what you're grateful for in your business every morning, that list, it's kind of humbling in the sense of you really do have to be grateful for that list of things that you have to do. And you have to get it done at the same time. But if you're just stressed out the whole time you're doing it, you're not going to have fun doing it. And then you're going to hate your business.
Right.
And it's all going to filter into that. So really, when you're trying to overcome procrastination, try to think of also being grateful for those tasks that you have to do.
So I have to call this lead back. I'm grateful. People are contacting me to book. Like, and this actually goes into family life too, because I think I've heard something like that before too. It's like, okay, I have to go pick up my son from Pause, which is the after school daycare thing for first grade. And like, no, I get to pick up Jackson. I get to pick him up and we get to talk and I get to have some time with just him.
Yeah.
Like, I should be happy I get to do that, not feel like, oh God, I gotta go get him, then I have to cook.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get to get him.
Yeah, because that just sounds so depressing. It makes you, like, it really is. Yeah. Like, your life, there's the facts, and then there's how you look at it. You can look at it with negative glasses, or you can look at it with happy, positive glasses.
Right.
Like, for me, like, when we were pregnant with the twins, and I had to go, I we had to go to Missoula to a specialist every 2 weeks, and it was draining just not
So
knowing.
about
the
a 2 hour drive, hour 45, 2 hour drive. Yeah.
And then they look, and then they're like, oh yeah, you know, they never give you an answer. But I really had to have peace with, it's good now. Like, everything is good now. I couldn't think of what was going to happen. Like, I played all these scenarios out in my head, like I do often with my business, of, oh, this person's going to be so mad, or they're not even going to like their photos. No. Like, you know your truth. You know what's current right now. Like, stop thinking about what could and should be, maybe. Just think about be in the moment. Be appreciative. Love your life. Love those photos you have to edit. Well, be happy taking out that garbage that you haven't taken out in 2 weeks.
Right. Write a sticky note. I get to, because I mean, it's easy to say, I'm going to be positive, but you kind of always go back to your average state, I think. And so if you have a little note, it's like, no, I get to. Then you can kind of reframe in your head, no, like, I get to do this. And that's a much easier way of being positive than just trying to always be positive and like, life is wonderful even though I can't pay my bill. No, it's, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, okay, that was totally random. But
that's okay. We need
whatever it is. Moments. We need lunch. We're going to go have lunch after this.
Oh, I'm so excited for a hamburger. I'm excited.
Oh, are we going to
go
get a hamburger?
I don't know. Maybe a steak. Eggs. And steak.
It's 11:37 here in Montana.
I'm starving. I was like that
I'm hungry too.
At school. Like, when we were seniors, we got to eat with the kindergartners because it, like, K through 12. And when you're a senior, you get to eat first at lunch. And I'm just like, oh, thank God. It's 11 o'clock. We get to go eat. And we had the best lunch ladies ever. Homemade meals. I'm like, yes. It's beef stroganoff.
Melissa's from a town of, because everyone's probably like, high school? Isn't there like, no, she's from a town of like 200. Yeah. Now she lives in a town in the big city of 33,000.
Yeah, this big city for me. We have a Walmart.
We have a mall that's half empty.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, I love Butte. Butte is an awesome town. Really a great place, but we just like to make fun of ourselves.
We can make fun of our hometown. Home dog.
But you can't, trust me. You make fun of Butte, Montana on a Facebook group,
what's the shirt?
You will be killed.
Yeah, Butte, America, and then it's like straight out of Butte. Like, what are the shirts that they have? I don't know.
There's a shirt, it's like Butte versus
Butte
everybody.
Tough. Yeah, Butte versus everybody. Yeah.
That's a super popular shirt.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a cool town. We love it.
We can make fun of it, but
you can't.
You can to us privately, but anyway, okay, unless there's anything else, I think we're good.
I think we're good. We probably rambled on so much about procrastination. You guys need to get your shit done.
Yes, stop watching us.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Now.
Do what you need to do.
Go.
I'm serious. Get your thing done. Turn off Facebook. Airplane mode. Okay.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Mwah. Okay, now I gotta stop streaming. As you guys can tell, I'm sort of new to this streaming thing.